Okay, what we're going to do now is go through how we would import into Adobe Premiere and edit some footage and export the movie. The overall process for the movie creation. So here we have Premiere Pro in your Adobe Master Collection suite. You also notice I've got CS6 there, which you'll be getting soon, which has some cool new features. Okay, so where you can see I've got some other, you see I like ABBA there, I've got some other projects, but this one will be a new project for you, and that should be blank the first time you use it. So new project. Now here's the critical bit. We have to say where we're going to save it so we can find it again, and we have to give it a name that's meaningful. So we browse to your computer, should be similar to mine. If we go into Documents, I've got a folder called School, and I have a whole series of other files. That could be a science, Italian, etc. In my Year 8 computing, I'm going in my Movies section, I'm going to select that folder. So you can see now that it says My Documents, School Year 8 and Movies. I'm going to call it My First Movie. Okay, and you would, for example, the one you're going to do soon is the Exploding Pumpkin, so that's what you call it. The rest of this you can leave as default. The next screen, when it comes up, once again, we don't want to mess with this too much. Now, Premiere Pro is a very complex piece of software and has the ability to use different media and output different types of files for different definition movies, etc., etc. But we're going to keep it simple, and the sequence is the same as the movie. My first movie. A sequence would be, if you're making a big movie, you would have several sequences that you might combine together. Right, and then the GUI should come up, which when the first time you see it is quite horrendous, but you'll get used to it. I won't go through the GUI. You've got the tutorials. What you should have, mine has been used before, it should be in the editing phase. Right, this is the key part here, the timeline, and this is where we show any imports that we're bringing in. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just import sample. So if we go to videos first, sample videos, we'll do the wildlife one, which you'll also have, and you see it appears there. The next one, we will do a graphic, so we import again, and we'll go to pictures, and we'll go to the sample pictures, and we'll pick the penguins, and in that comes file, import, and we'll do some music. So we'll just go to the music section, sample music, and we'll just pick that one. Okay, so we have imported our footage and our whatever we need to make our movie, and now we're going to put it down onto the stage or the timeline. So this appears as video 1 with its associated audio. And down here, there are several ways to do this, but what we can do is just stretch it out. It's like magnifying it, zooming in and zooming out, so we get a better idea of what's on that sequence or that footage. Now, one good skill to have is to be able to cut out bits that you don't want. So if we just fast forward to, let's see, we've got some birds flying there. I think some. Let's go back. Try and find. There it is, the seal. Right. Where's those seals gone? Won't get too fussy. Let's say that that's the point that we want to cut our movie. Over here are the tools. You can see it's on the select tool at the moment. We're going to go to the razor tool, which will cut it for us. So you click on that tool, and you put it on, line it up on where you've stopped the footage, and just snip it. Now, it's a bit like walking around with a razor blade in your hand. That could be dangerous. If you click again, you might accidentally cut footage. So you immediately go back to the selection tool, and we're just going to slide that up a little bit. So now we've cut that footage into 2 pieces. What I wanted to do was insert the picture of my penguins. Now notice that there's no audio attached with that, makes sense. Now this little tool here, you see it highlight, that penguin footage is going to show for, well, we're at the just over 15 seconds to just over 20. It's about a 5-second period of time. Sometimes that's too long to look at the picture, so we're just going to shorten that down to about 4 seconds, and then click on this and slide it back up. Now what I want to do is, this is the audio that's associated with the video. I want to keep that, but here I want to put in my own music or make it a little bit different. So you'll notice here that if I move these, right, see how they move together. What we need to do is unlink. So you right click on it, and up here you unlink, and what that does is separate the audio and the video. Now you'll see that if I can move this separately. Now I don't want that, so I'm just going to cut that out so you see the audio disappears. I'm going to bring in my custom music. Now I could put it here and it will sit over the top of that, and you'll hear both of those at once, but so you have multi-tracks. So you see it goes off the page, so I'm just going to shrink it up a little bit to see where it ends, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to go right up there, and let's just see, that is just about it. Now there are a whole host of other things you can do, so what I suggest you do at this stage is you just save it, because you've done a fair bit of editing. You don't want to lose it if it crashes or anything. Right, what you can do now is go to the effects, so see up there in workspace, change it to effects. Now you've got a whole lot of effects here. We'll just focus on one effect here, which is our video transitions, and we'll pick a page peel. Now sometimes the transitions will not work, it depends on the footage, but most of these will. So I'm just going to put right in there, there's my transition, okay? And if you want to preview that, just slide it back off a bit and preview in here, and you can, there you go, see how it peels to the next one, and there's my music that cuts in. Right, to speed things up, let's say I'm happy with that. What you should always do is play the movie through and preview it, and make sure there's nothing untoward or whatever. Also you can put in titles, but if you look at the shoots, you can put in titles at the front, during, as an overlay, and at the end with your rolling credits, but we won't worry too much about that. So there's our editing. So first we imported, and then we edited on the timeline. Now we're happy with the finished product. What we'll do is we'll save it as a project. Remember, the project is not the movie yet. The last step is we need to export. So we go to Export, Media. Now if that isn't highlighted, what you have to do is just click in your timeline. Sometimes it doesn't come up highlighted. That's all you have to do. So Export, Media. Now, once again, because of the complexity of software, we have lots of choices. You'll see it defaults to an FLV file, which is a flash file, because that's what Adobe's famous for. If you want to change where you save it or what it's called, click on that, and you'll see it says, where do you want to put it? Now, at the moment, it's in my Year 8 Computing Movies, and I'm going to leave it as an FLV, and probably that's what you should do most of the time, unless I tell you otherwise. The quality of FLV and the suitability for all the other Adobe products is the way to go. So it's my first movie, save. And you'll notice that nothing's changed because I didn't change anything, but if you had to change the name or the path, it would change there. And then you click Export. And it will take a little bit of time to export. Depending on the size of the movie. So this is called rendering. So what it's doing is it's taking all of the links that you've made to the 3 things that we put in there, the picture, the movie and the sound, and all the changes we made to them, and it combines them into one file, and that's the file that you can transport. You can put that on a USB and take it and play it on your TV at home if it accepts that format, or someone else's computer. Now, remember this software is very, very complex, but it's very, very powerful. So software packages like iMovie and Windows Movie Maker also are fantastic tools, but if you want to go to that extra level, it would be Final Cut Pro, which is one of the Mac software packages, or this one combined with After Effects. The movie Avatar was made by this in After Effects, so that gives you an example of how powerful they are. So if you go through all those tutes I gave you in the course outline and found your own, you'll be able to make some incredible movies with special effects and everything. Right, that's all done. So what we're going to do is we're going to close our Premiere Pro. We're finished with that. The project will always be there. I'm going to go back to my computer, Documents, School, Euro Computing, Movies. My first movie, there it is. That's the project. See the Premiere Pro, that's the project. So if I open that, it'll go back into the editing mode where you can change things. This is the actual movie. So we're going to open it with VLC Media Player, which I find the best one to use for these type of movies. There's my movie. Right, so there's the horses, there's the birds. You should get a transition. They were the seals I wanted to cut into. There the birds, we should see the transition coming up. There we go. And the footage my custom. So that's it. We have made our movie. So now you guys are going to do the same, and the Exploding Pumpkin will be the first major chance you have to do that.